Hi there, my name is Jack. I'm going to be talking about manual transmissions and why they need to make a comeback on the American market. So this is the gear shifter out of a manual transmission. If you've never seen one before, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to pass this around the room so everyone can take a look at it. And while I do that, I want to ask everybody, when is the last time you really felt like you were driving your car? These days, a lot of cars feel a lot more automated. There's a lot more focus on driver assistance, infotainment screens, and that's great. It's more technology that is good, but it also means that people are becoming less in tune with their car. They're not as deliberate drivers. So I really think the crisis of control can be solved by manual transmissions. 90% of US households have access to a car. That's more than any other country on the planet. We have an entire infrastructure built around the car. I think people need to know what they're driving. I think having a more deliberate driver means a safer road, and they're also a lot more fuel efficient. And those are going to be the three main points we're going to be talking about today. I'm talking about control, fuel efficiency, and then attentiveness. So as someone that drives a manual transmission, myself, I can say from experience that it's maybe a lot more deliberate, maybe a lot more in tune with the car, and in turn it's maybe a lot more attentive to people around me. So to start, I'm going to be talking about control. So manuals, they offer control via gear selection. So you're changing what gear you're in. It's going to have you a lot more control over the momentum of the car as well as engine speed. Whereas if you're driving an automatic, you just put it in drive, and then you're basically at the mercy of the wheels. This is also really good for adverse conditions. If you're in the rain, if you're in the snow, if you're uphill, you can basically just select which gear you want, and that's going to give you a lot more traction, control over the car. Whereas with automatic, you're basically just, you're at the mercy of the wheels and what they're going to do. So, and the other thing is engine braking, like I said. So if you're driving downhill and you put it in engine braking, you're using the momentum of the car that you wouldn't be using if you're in automatic. So in both these situations, stick shift can give the driver a lot more control, but there's another really big tangible benefit, and that's fuel efficiency. So manuals, they're a lot smaller by design. They're a lot simpler, just a series of rotating gears, whereas an automatic, it has clutch packs, it has electronic controls. The more technology, the more heavy it gets. So all that complex parts and all that weight drag down the car a lot. Whereas a manual, it's going to be a lot lighter, it's going to be a lot simpler. That's going to translate to better fuel efficiency. You're going to be using a lot less fuel when your car is lighter, and you can decide how fast the engine is moving. So those are really, really big points to know about why they're so fuel efficient. So while these 2 points are going to offer some really tangible benefits for drivers, my third one is going to be really focusing on people outside of the car itself, and that's attentiveness. There was a study done by the AAA that found that reaching down to change a setting on an infotainment screen in a new car when they have those big screens takes the same amount of time to touch something on the infotainment screen that it does to check your phone. So we have all these laws against texting and driving and being on your phone for distracted driving, whereas we have all these screens built into the car that are doing the same thing, making them at the same time more distracted, right? But if you're driving a manual, you have to have all 4 limbs in unison and operating together. You have your left foot on the clutch and the brake, you have your right foot on the accelerator, you need one hand on the wheel, and you need one hand on the gear shift. So when you have all 4 limbs working together, you literally cannot be distracted. You can't reach for your phone. It's very hard to even touch the radio dial. So when all of your limbs are using in unison, you're going to be a lot more attentive to the car, and you're going to be a lot more attentive to people around you. So while automatics and technology can seem a lot better in the long run, I think manual transmissions are going to really deserve a resurgence. So we talked about how manuals can offer a lot more control. We also talked about how they can be utilized for better fuel efficiency. And we figured out how that we can cut down on distracted driving. So I really want you guys to walk away from this with the fact that manual transmissions may seem like a thing of the past. But if you're considering buying a new car, I really think you should buy a manual because it'll give you a lot more control over the car, be a lot more fuel efficient, and you'll be a lot more attentive to people on the road. So, thanks so much. I'm going to decrease the speed by like